Good afternoon, everybody. It seems some of the moderators, those who came onto the stage, and some speakers did mention about the maturity, the age factor, the knowledge, wisdom, experience in this hall. I don't want to go there, I just want to confess, I am 24 and being stuck there for I don't know how long. So on a pro rata basis, you can decide as to how young, experienced or mature you are. Because I have not grown beyond 24. Now going ahead from here, since morning it's been very overwhelming. मुझे एक बात याद आ गई, किसी ने कहा था हम सब एक कहानी तो हैं और हम सबकी एक कहानी. So I think this is what I experienced since morning, and everybody, ending to my last guest on the stage, stories. It's all about stories, and so interesting and very fascinating. Now today what we are going to do with these two eminent authors, and this reminds me of a very simple question for all of you. आज कौन सा दिन है? Anybody? Sunday. Anybody else? 22. और कोई? हाँ जी? अच्छा दिन है. अच्छा दिन आ गया. Okay. Incredible day. Okay, but I can give you another perspective. Today is the 53rd day of the year, and that gives you another idea that you still got 312 fresh days ahead of you to complete whatever you want for 2026. Now, in this story, nothing changed, just the facts were put in differently. And with these two, you will actually see the life being put in differently. What they experienced, what they went through is magical. So I would like each one of you to keep your phone down, put your ears to me, because next 35-40 minutes, till the time Hardeep gives me a red signal from that side, I'll not stop. Without wasting time, coming back to both of you. What I basically loved about your books, and trust me, they both come from a very diverse field. One is talking about dharma, one is talking about design and governance. I mean, look at the extremes. But actually you will see that by the end of the session, we have stitched them together. There's something very common and unique between both of them. And this is going to be very interesting. Starting with you, Anu. I mean, you being into intellectual writing and talking about wellness, Ayurveda, health, and then suddenly I see a book talking about Bishnois. Such a sensational, controversial subject, and that too, leaving your comfort and landing in Western Rajasthan, in a community, and trying to figure out as to what they did, how it happened, etc. But this jump from wellness, Ayurveda and yoga, I see a complete shift in paradigm. How did that happen?
I'm delighted to be here. First of all, I'm a Chandigarh girl myself, Kamal Pannan, Chandigarh. So the way it all started was I was having coffee with a friend and with a bunch of friends, and they started talking of Bishnois as, you know, this ferocious kind of people. And I come from Haryana. My father was a police officer in the Haryana cadre, and he used to talk of, you know, his patrolling days when there used to be some poaching, some hunting in the Bishnoi villages, and pura ka pura village would come up at the thana and, you know, nabbing the poacher and said, "Abhi insaf karo ji," you know, seeking instant justice. And from there to now, we have the poaching incident, the famous Salman Khan poaching incident, and it's nearly 30 years now. And you know, and Bishnois have been associated with that poaching incident in public memory. So we were talking about this, and he said, "Why don't you write a book, because you seem to know a little bit more." And I made a 2-minute video, which is what I usually do. I make these short reels, and that reel went insanely viral. I said, okay, this is a sign from God, let me see what happens. And you know, we all work as per our conditioning, sanskars are very embedded in us. In a way, sanskars are conditioning 101, psychology 101. So, giving into that, I landed up at the Jodhpur High Court, and because I'm a lawyer, so I said, "Chalo, poaching case ka hi documents nikalte." And as I started seeing more and more of the documents, and I started reading the trial case outcomes, and of course the High Court judgments. Now, there's something very peculiar about law. We think it's a very dry subject, and of course, Rajasthan is a very dry state, right? Everything rukha sukha, and lawyers, hum bhi bade rukhe sukhe hote hain. So, but there's a very peculiar thing that law does, judgments. They put the spotlight on things that the society has not seen. Legal cases give us a view to see things which we've kind of left untouched before. And that's exactly what Salman Khan versus State of Rajasthan did for me. It opened a window to a world of the Bishnoi world, which I had not seen before. And I started asking myself this question, that in a country where human life doesn't matter, why are these people fighting for a few years? Incidentally, there were 4 FIRs in the Salman Khan case, 5 animals killed, and on 3 intervening nights, on 3 different nights. So there was a lot of hunting, poaching that was happening, allegedly. But one thing led to another. I met the people who were summoned by the courts. They were witnesses. They had appeared in court 65, 70 times. And as I started talking to them, I started exploring the philosophy, and slowly and steadily the book emerged like an intersection of law, dharma, and environment. That's my little piece of how this started.
Wonderful. I think although design is supposed to be a management vocabulary, but still fits into you. I mean, how the design actually chose you, and you started from nowhere, and then went so deep into the subject that today you can actually sit and talk about it in length. Wonderful. Can we have a round of applause, please? Keep doing this yogic exercise, this helps.
Dharma is cosmic design.
Yeah, here we go. Wonderful. But I think going beyond in this, although I must confess this, when this incident happened, I was not really concerned about Salman Khan. I was more concerned about Sonali Bendre, to be honest. But any which way, each one has its own way of looking at things. But I think when you went a little more deeper, I think it was beyond just poaching and not just deers. I think in your book you have mentioned history which starts at 1730 and the entire journey starts from there. So it basically reflects on to 500 plus years history, which tells us as to how this community is being practicing something and not just preaching, but practicing something. It is in the DNA, and each person starting from a kid, they are how protective they are for the environment, etc. If you can just take us through briefly of the journey.
So as I started exploring more and more, I realized it was not just one poaching incident or one case. They were working by a code in their DNA, which was in short, Jeev Daya Palani Rukh Lila Na Ghave, which is be kind to animals and don't cut green trees. Now, in English translation, we lose out the essence of most things. Rukh Lila Na Ghave means घाव नहीं देना है.
How beautiful.
Injure नहीं करना है, ना खुद को, ना environment को. This starts from the self and goes up to the environment. So it's the same principle. Don't injure yourself. So they have these 29 rules. The Bishnoi community is better known as Bishnoi. 29, Bis plus not 29. And they're also Vishnu Bhakts. So Vishnu became Bishnoi. Those are the two theories about how the word Bishnoi came. And they are all about the 29 rules, which are about don't harm yourself, don't have intoxicants, don't have nasha, don't harm animals, don't cut green trees, and they have sacrificed their lives for that. Now, a very curious thing I heard, and most of the audience here is army people, so I think we'll relate to that. They say in Western Rajasthan, when a gunshot is fired, two people stand up, two kinds of people stand up. One, of course, a soldier who's trained to protect people and see that no one is harmed. And the second is Bishnoi, who gets up unarmed to see that no poaching is done and no animal is harmed. And doing this, I went across Western Rajasthan and found these little Shilal lakes, little bust of people dedicated, and they call them Shaheed, So Shaheed Shaitan Singh Bishnoi, Shaheed Gangaram Bishnoi, Shaheed, so many Shaheeds. And I met a lot of the families of Shaheeds. And they became my friends, they invited me to their weddings and everything. And the weddings of the children who are now surviving. And they talk of it very proudly. So one such family spoke to me and they said, हमने जब गंगाराम जी का जब हमें बॉडी मिली, उन्होंने हिरण का टांग पकड़ी हुई थी, उन्होंने हाथ नहीं छोड़ा उसका, हमें काट के खोलना पड़ा. So those are the kind of stories that you hear. And similarly for trees, in 1730, 363 men, women and children gave up their lives defending trees when the king's men came to cut trees. And this story is not even known in general public. मेरी NCERT book में क्यों नहीं थी? I'm very angry at that. 363 is no joke. And incidentally, I'm dedicating all the interactions that I'm having for the book to the 363 Shaheeds. And I am dedicating this conversation to the number 19 Shaheed, Shri Khibji, son of Shri Harnath Ji from Khejirani village.
A big round of applause.
I hope to do 363 such sessions. So it's a beautiful legacy that they have.
I know I can go on and on with Anu, but then I'll forget Mr. Devarajan here. I'm so sorry, it's been a few minutes and you've been sitting very patiently in silence. So I'll come back to you, Anu, give me a minute. Can I call you Dev? Is that okay?
Please do.
With your consent, thank you so much. So Dev seems to be a tech CEO, but at the same time, post has, although he's not retired even yet, but in between, he also picked up photography as one of his hobby. And guess what? ये CEO कुछ भी करते हैं ना तो पागलपन की हद तक करते हैं. Photography शुरू की 48 international awards. Can we have a big round of applause? Thank you. ये ऐसे CEO नहीं बन जाते कि because मैं ये हूँ, इसका बेटा हूँ, इस घर से आया हूँ, इसलिए ये chair है. I think they make themselves to be what they are. And that's so beautiful. I mean, camera को हाथ लगाया तो उसमें भी सोना उगल दिया.
Thank you.
Now, like Anu started writing books and went to, Rajasthan. On the contrary, you took 24 years before you thought of writing a book. And a book on the company that you worked with. And after leaving that company, it took you 24 years. I mean, who does that? So why did you do that?
I did that. And why did I do that? Well, it's again a beautiful long story. I mean,
we need to be short. Hardeep is already looking at me through the binoculars.
I just started, Hardeep. About a couple of years ago, I had a call from the current CEO of Tata Elxsi. I used to run Tata Elxsi as a CEO. The current CEO called me and he said, there is an investment management firm in Bombay and Mumbai, and they want to talk to you about Tata Elxsi and what this company is all about and all that. I told him, hey, listen, Manoj, this is a company you are running now. I have run it and handed it over to you. Now you are running it, so it's best you tell the story. So he said, no. They want to hear the origins of this company and all the turbulent times this company has gone into, and all the pitfalls, the successes, and nobody else can tell it but you. So I conceded and I said, okay, I can do that. And within 2 days, I got a call from this person in Mumbai. He said, I'm coming down next week. So can we meet for about an hour over coffee and you tell me the story of what really happened? I said, if you want to meet me, let's meet over coffee, but you need to set out 2 hours. I can't, condense the story in an hour. So we met, within 4 days he was there, and we met at a coffee shop in a hotel, restaurant. And he said, can I switch on the voice recorder? So he switched on the voice recorder and I just started rambling my thoughts, which all came from my heart, because this is a company which I nurtured, I gave birth to, and it is what it is today because of all the work that me and my team did. At the end of an hour and 40 minutes, he switched off the recorder and he said, sir, this story is not for me, this story is meant for a book. I said, come on, you asked me for my time, I gave you my time, take the story and do what you wish. He said, no, you have to write a book. There are so many books written on Tata companies. none on this company, Tata Elxsi, which is a niche and the highest valued company in the Tata group. So I'm going to talk to somebody and make it happen. I said, thank you very much. And within 2 days, I get a call from the publishing editor of Penguin Random House. And this gentleman calls me, Manish, and he says, Dev sir, I just heard your voice recording. I said, how? He says, no, so-and-so gave it to me. And we want you to write this book. It has to come out. Like somebody said, the world wants to know, you know. So I said, I said, listen, I have no idea of writing a book. I don't even know how to write a book. Never written one before. Then he said, I'll get you a ghostwriter. I said, ghostwriter, but whatever I've said in that voice recording has come from my heart. And no ghostwriter can, transcribe that. So if I have to write it, I'll write it. He said, okay, put down the phone. Within 3 days, I had a contract which I had to sign. It was a no-brainer. And I started. And when I started, I realized the book just flowed out of myself. It was my heart story, my soul story.
And there it is. The book is right in front of you on the table. A big round of applause to Mr. Dev for this.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, how many of you actually heard about a company called Tata Elxsi? Raise your hands.
Wow, not bad.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we are close to 10.
Not bad. Because
Not bad.
2 weeks back, I was in IIM Calcutta, and there was an audience of about 180, and I asked this question, I had 4 hands up.
Wow, Chandigarh, give a round of applause to yourself. Haji?
I have shared some of them.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Oh. Keep it.
So now Mr. Dev sits here and he writes this book. This book is about turning around a company, an organization. Trust me, being in the management and having worked across the globe, I understand when you said turning around an organization or revamping, it's almost like renovating your house. It's almost like repairing a car. It's almost like, most people will understand when you say, यार 90 किलो का हो गया 70-72 करने हैं और थोड़े से organ ठीक करने हैं. This statement sounds so easy, but to do this is the most difficult job. The difference between your body and an organization is that your body you can dictate, you can put discipline, and the body will not have a choice. But when you're trying to do that to an organization, there are people involved, there are processes involved, there are n number of factors, external and internal. And the moment you say you want to change something, most of the time the resistance comes from within, from inside to start with. And that is why it is the most difficult thing. So I just want to ask Mr. Dev, what are the 5 things, because you wrote about asking hard questions to yourself before you thought of turning around this organization. And you mentioned very specifically in bold letters saying that this is moment I need to ask hard questions to myself. So what exactly you went through? Briefly, if you can take us through.
Let me give the audience a 2-minute backgrounder on this. So this company was actually founded in the United States way back in the mid-80s. It was the first computer company founded by an Indian in America. Okay? All the startups and all the names that you hear now are something else. And Mr. Tata, Ratan Tata, wanted a stake in this company because he loved the technology that it had. And he said, I want this company for the Tatas. So he, in those difficult times in the late 80s when foreign exchange was hard to come by, the economic reforms hadn't happened, with some export funds that he had with him overseas, he put money into this company called Elxsi. But Elxsi, the American investors said, you will not have access to the American and European markets. You can take this technology and service in the Asian markets, Far Eastern markets. So he moved the company to Singapore and called it Tata Elxsi from Elxsi Corporation. By the time the company came to India, because of the license Raj, it couldn't come to India, Elxsi had closed down there. And we had imported a whole lot of capital goods, kits to manufacture computers. So a few $1 million worth of investment had come into India, and everything was defunct because that company shut down. Then we collaborated with another American company saying, okay, we will use that technology We imported again, paid technology know-how fees, imported capital goods, imported kits to manufacture those computers in this country. Then the license Raj opened up. 1992, Mr. Narasimha Rao said, you can import anything. All this is so not required. So we had access to the latest technology, but we were deep in the dumps because of these investments. We had no money. We were broke. A Tata company was broke, and we would have gone into Bureau of Infrastructure Restructuring, what they call BIFR, there, file Chapter 11. That was the time I got a call from Mr. Elxsi, who was the founder of TCS, also known as the father of the IT industry in India. He called me and he said, come and meet me in Mumbai. When I met him, he said, Devarajan, what do you do nowadays? I mean, I didn't know him at all, but he had read a little bit about me before calling me. And I told him what I was doing, and immediately he said, okay, stop, let me tell you, we are in deep trouble with this company called Tata Elxsi. Would you like to come on board and change this company's fortunes? Man of his stature, father figure to me, if he says something like that, you cannot, it's an offer you cannot refuse. So I said, okay. I mean, come what may, I said, I will do it. Do I have your support, Mr. Kohli? He said, yes. I said, let me go ahead, take the challenge. I didn't know what I was heading into, honestly. And that's how I came on board. And then we were in, deep losses. Our losses were 39 crores on an equity base of 12 crores. We were completely messed up. So I had to completely undo what this company was doing then and redo and do something very different. Now what is that different? We had Infosys. Infosys was a 30 crore company those days. I don't know whether Vikas is here, but it was 30 crores. A small company. We had HCL, we had TCS. And if we started to do something, we cannot win the race with these giants. So we said, let's do something completely out of the box, completely different from what other computer companies do. So we got into areas of expertise in technology, which nobody else in this country, and for that matter, very few people in the world were doing. That was a huge pivotal strategy change that one had to do. I asked my team, leadership team, will you support me? This is what we want. We will be different. They said, okay, we are with you. Then, sorry for taking a little time on this, but then around the same time, Mr. Ratan Tata used to call for a CEO's conference of all his CEOs every year. For about 2 days, we met in Goa. And in his keynote, he said something which still sticks very close to my heart. He said, guys, we have to, turn this Tata Group, we have to grow to this, blah, 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 these numbers, so many thousands of crores. But one thing, please remember, whatever you do as a company, each of those 89 companies we are talking about, either be number 1 or number 2 in the business that you are in, or don't be there. That hit me like a bullet.
How beautiful is that?
So I said, we are going to be number 1, not number 2 in the business we are doing, or we will shut down Tata Elxsi. That was my objective. I came down and said the same spiel to my team. They all said, we'll bet on you there. Not one person in those difficult times quit the company in the frenzy of IT companies, attrition that you know of, and we made that change.
Great. You did take extra time rather than save my time.
Thank you.
My next question you already covered. I wanted to actually talk about this 89 CEOs, the meeting and that message. You already completed that. I also wanted you to talk a bit about Ratan Tata. We don't have the time, but you already mentioned about him, and that shows the kind of person he was. Can we have a big round of applause for Ratan Tata once? What a personality. I don't know how many of you actually got a chance to meet him ever. But I happened to meet him for 10 minutes in my lifetime. And I think that goes into my memory bank and it's been archived. I mean, I can take him out, talk to him, and again put him back there. Going back to you, Anu, similarly, like Ratan Tata, in your entire speech, you didn't mention one person, which I thought would be mentioned, and that is Amrita Devi, right? So why don't you, like Ratan Tata ji, Amrita Devi के बारे में थोड़ा सा और चिपको आंदोलन के बारे में थोड़ा सा बताइए, because rest everybody can read in the books, but these things are very, very passionately stitched in the book.
Sure. Thank you. So Amrita Devi Bishnoi is not a name that we take with women leadership. You know, we know Greta Thunberg as a great environmentalist, but I think it's been our huge lapse on the part of our educators that we don't know of Amrita Devi Bishnoi. So she was the person who led the people to sacrifice their lives. So basically, the legend goes, the history goes, that once the king of Jodhpur sent men to the Khejreli village to cut trees to expand the palace, right? And as the king's men came, she stood her ground and she said that no, I will not let the trees be cut, because the tree, the Khejri is the lifeline, the kalpavriksha of the desert, you know, and it takes a long while for a tree to grow this thick. We're not going to let it cut. And the king's man said, no, you get aside or you get your head chopped off. And sure enough, she got the axe and her head was chopped off. On her call, a lot of people came. First came her 3 daughters running, not to protect her, but to fight with the soldiers so that the trees are not cut. Their heads was also chopped off. Then came her husband, also chopped off. One by one, 363 people died. But what we've forgotten is that they came on the call of a woman leader, an eco-feminist, but we don't recognize them. We don't know of them, and that's the sad part. So leadership in that sense that comes from the ground up is something very, very valuable. It's not, as you said, you know, koi ohda nahi hai, koi padvi nahi hai, but it came from ground up. And this was not a time of WhatsApp or, you know, where you broadcast a message. As and when people kept coming slowly, their heads kept getting chopped off. And by the time the message reached back the king, 362 people had died. So leadership stories like these, I think, need to be brought in public discourse. Women leadership stories, but we don't need to go out to look for women leadership. We don't need to look outside for environmentalism, ESG goal frameworks. You know, nobody gives up their lives for ESG goal frameworks. Nobody ever died protecting the environment anywhere in the world other than this place. And 250 years later, this inspired the Chipko Andolan in Uttarakhand. Also, the women of the Rania village, right, who hugged the trees and said that we're not going to let the trees chopped off. And of course, that became a political movement. Bahugunaji did a fantastic job with it, great job, but we forget that the grassroots leadership came from the women also. So in a way, we have systematically, you know, we erase the contributions and the leadership aspects, and then we keep searching for roles, you know, role leadership, you know, where are the women in leadership? Jo thi, humne unko to bula diya. So that's, I think, a very big learning that keeps coming up in my book, and maybe because I'm a woman, so it was documented more powerfully there.
So I think, do you think there's an overlap? One is talking about dharma, but there's a design there. And one is talking about design, there is dharma there.
When she gave up her life, she says, Sar saathe rook rahe, phir bhi sasto jaan. That is, even if my head rolls for a tree, even then the sauda is worth it. So what more leadership, what more ahvan?
So very quickly, 5 questions to both of you, and you can reply in one word. Dharma or development?
Dharma.
Here you go.
Both.
A guy coming in from industry is actually backing up dharma.
Dharma has nothing to do with industry.
You know what I'm saying? People misinterpret and think that dharma is something which has got to do with rituals, which has got to do with, but dharma is also an extension of your working behavior.
My duty.
There is no dharma without artha, and there's no artha without dharma.
Fantastic.
So both connect.
Fantastic. Design or destiny?
Design.
Dharma is design. Yeah, design yourself.
No, I'm not giving you a third option. I'm just asking you design or destiny. Give me one word.
I don't know what is
Design.
Design. Profit or purpose?
Purpose.
Purpose-led profit.
Compliance or conviction?
Conviction.
100% conviction.
Speed or stability?
Stability.
Growth or depth?
Depth.
Guys, this is for you. The rapid fire is answered by him, but most of the answers are with you for you to take it back home with you. Efficiency or empathy?
Empathy.
But he's scoring.
No,
That was not the intention.
Lay down the rules. I want to win.
I just got carried away. I got carried away.
Memory or innovation?
Both intermixed. Memory, sanskar, and innovation, what you do with it.
Innovation,
Innovation. Leadership is discipline or imagination?
discipline.
In one word, what must India protect most urgently? Both of you can answer separately.
It's talent.
Courage to say things with honesty and call out the BS that's happening around us.
Fantastic. So, in our concluding remarks, from your side, Dave, if there are business people here, those who are running their own businesses, or any kind of organization, be it law or management or whatever, if you have to give them one tip before you leave the stage, what would it be for the people here? And same, Anu, for you, if you have to imagine this is India and the citizens are listening to you, how do you think, what message they should take back home, which will basically give them the commitment, the kind of dedication that you actually learned from that community, and what exactly they're supposed to do as individuals?
First, courage of conviction. Second, the ability to honestly state things the way it is. And third, like I said, call out the BS whenever you get an opportunity. Let's not live with it. Let's not live with what's happening and say it's okay with it. It's not okay.
I can just enumerate my points which made me successful, and not only one organization, more than one organization. I think most importantly, one should be a team player. It's very important. And when I say team player, you're not the just the leader, the manager, and you have the players. You play with the team. It's like a football match or a hockey match where the captain plays along with the rest of the team. It's not that you direct and somebody else follows the rules. Second, I think as people, as leaders, all of us are leaders in some way or the other. It's important to have a very high empathy quotient, as I call it, towards your team, towards the world outside you, towards your customers, towards your bosses. And unless that empathy quotient doesn't hit you hard, you cannot have the team to work together and make you successful and make them successful. That's the key takeaways. And be passionate. Passion drives the whole performance, I would say. Whatever you want to do, drive it with passion. Drive it from your heart. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Anu. Thank you, Dev.
Thank you, sir. So I request the speakers to kindly stay on the stage for a moment. So I would now like to invite Mrs. Devpreet Singh and Professor Deepti Gupta to kindly felicitate our speakers. Can you please have a round of applause for all three of us?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Can you please have a round of applause for them? So your ideas